Welcome to the Rob and Kale podcast. Rob Sanders,
Some would be entertained by it. Some would be horrified by
Kale Carolina Jackpot Hall.
All would be interested in it.
The Rob and Kale podcast.
Let's go.
And welcome into the Rob and Kale podcast. I'm Rob Sanders. Thanks for joining us this evening. As I said, I'm Rob Sanders here in Columbia, where last night, well, actually, let's be positive to start the program. Today, the Gamecock baseball team had a combined no-hitter. We'll go positive first, as I welcome in the gentleman that is wearing a Braves pullover this evening because he is an Atlanta Braves fan, America's team. That is who they are. He is Mr. Carolina Jackpot, Kale Hall. Kale, what's up, buddy?
Rob, how are you doing this evening?
I am doing well, sir. Was on the golf course today with the daughter as she played in this tournament. So I am wind-whipped, blistered, and ready to talk some sports with you, sir. But I am
it was
glad.
a little bit cold today. It was. I don't know. It was a weird day. It was
Well,
nice enough.
It wasn't dreary or whatever. It was just cold. It's too damn cold to be on a golf course. But we were there. Daughter played decent. So that's all that matters. And
I was in Western North Carolina today for most of the day, so it was colder there than here.
All right, so Jackpot, you were all over the place. You were in Columbia yesterday, stopped and dropped off my Christmas gift, which is a Clemson hat that looks just like this with the C on it. Now I have both. I think Jackpot got me the one with the C, so I would remember that Clemson starts with a C, because sometimes I get confused. Because last night they looked like they started with a fucking L. So
well, they ended with an L.
Yeah.
Or maybe they started with one and then they ended that way as well.
Yeah.
That was pretty bad performance down the stretch, you got to say. But
all right, well, I want to talk about that. But let's start with the chain of events. We'll go. You went to the LSU game yesterday.
I did.
So you got to see fuckery on display.
Yeah, I did. And the weird thing about that was I had told the wife, I'm like, it was starting before halftime. I was like, damn it, I'm like, and we're going to blow the team out. And we were, and we should have. The thing is, I have been doing a lot of gambling on the college basketball this year. And for some reason, man, I'm knocking it out of the park with the college basketball. I mean, I took $100 about 6 weeks ago, and I've just rolled that into quite a nice bankroll just winning on these college basketball games. I mean, I don't know why it's so much easier for me to bet on college basketball, which I'm just kind of more of a casual fan of. I don't really dive into it the way I do the football, but I mean, weird things happen. I mean, today, I'm hitting on East Carolina and Tulane. Anyway, aside from that, though, it's like down the stretch, you didn't even really notice they were pulling closer and closer. It got to be like 63-57. I'm like, holy fuck. I'm like, what just happened? Yeah, you guys soft, man. Playing really soft on the inside. Letting LSU get a lot of easy layups, and I don't know if we were trying to avoid getting in foul trouble. I'm not really sure what the hell was going on there, but letting Josh Gray pull up and take 3-point shots. I mean,
right?
What the fuck were we really doing there? And then at the very end, a lot of people were pissed. I was pissed off at the referees at that stupid jump ball call. I mean, what did they hold the ball for? Like maybe a second between them.
Well, not even that. Like, I am no Gamecock fan by any stretch, but they bodied the hell out of him. They about knocked his damn teeth out.
Yeah.
How about a jump ball? I don't understand that.
And then they're already calling for a jump ball. Yeah. At that damn point. But the thing is, I'm not going to sit here. I wasn't sitting there bitching about that officiating. It was bad. It was bad on both sides. And the thing about it was, though, as is usually the case when a game comes down at the end to officiating, the team that comes on the losing end of that could have done something way earlier to prevent it ever coming to that. and South Carolina was that yesterday. We were up by 16 points at one time, I think.
Yeah, 41-25 at one point. And I texted you before the game, and I'm like, man, that 6.5 point line looks really good. And you're like, yeah, I mean, you were liking it too. But the Gamecocks went out and played an LSU team. And I looked this stat up today. McMahon, their head coach at LSU, Lamont Paris this season has 9 SEC wins. McMahon in 2 seasons at LSU has 7 combined. That's who the Gamecocks lost to yesterday. I'm not rubbing your nose in it. I'm just saying this Gamecock basketball team had no business losing to an LSU team that is completely rebuilding and trying to get past the stench of Will Wade paying players and letting people know about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and they let a kid that played for us come in there and play pretty well in our house.
Yeah, that too.
That's kind of ridiculous. So that was you got your ass punched Wednesday night. That should have been the end of it. Now and it looked like for 3/4 of that game that they had.
You got beat by a good team. I mean, Auburn's a good team. Auburn's a projected
right, and that could have not hurt. It doesn't matter that you got blown out in the net rankings. I don't think they take into account whether you take into account whether you got blown out. It's just what if you won or lost and who you won or lost to.
Right. So let's update those really quick. South Carolina, I'm pulling them up right now, Jackpot. I don't know if you checked them today or not, but
no.
Let's start with South Carolina. South Carolina went from 50th down to 57th. And that's like it's not terrible, but the point is that you're these net ranking. I mean, I watched videos on them and trying to explain them, and it's all what this came down to with the net rankings, in my opinion, is it's a bunch of math people that got together and they determined that this win is more valuable than that one. And even though you're 21-5 and 9-4 in conference play, that doesn't matter. You're 57th in these net rankings. Clemson, by the way, after their loss last night, they dropped from 25 to 28. They have 8 losses. And when I look at South Carolina and Clemson, even though South Carolina took the loss on the road at Clemson, Clemson looks like more of a frayed team. And you're telling me they're at 28? I just don't get these net rankings at all. I just don't.
I don't know, but being ranked 57, that's kind of bad territory to be in when you realize that there are some teams that are ranked below you currently who are going to get a seat in the big dance because they're going to win their conference tournaments.
Right.
There's a lot of teams like that.
Well, but if we look at the rest of South Carolina's schedule here, you've got Ole Miss, who I believe is ranked ahead of you. That you go there. Week from we got the midweek game is off. Your next game is Saturday at Ole Miss, followed by a game at A&M, who they can get hot. You got a Florida team that's looking better and better each week, followed by Tennessee, who's the number 8 team in the country, and then you go on the road to Mississippi State. Man, it's looking daunting there, Jackpot. Would you agree?
Yeah, well, Ole Miss is not all that. They must have lost to Mizzou yesterday, who hasn't won a game in the league. I think they should beat Ole Miss. I think they should beat Mississippi State. They should win also at Texas A&M. The 2 home games are going to actually be tougher than those road games, in my opinion.
Well, we'll see how that goes. But I mean, did you get the vibe that was a tournament team, Jackpot? Do you still think you're making the tournament?
I think so. I mean, watching them play against Kentucky, watching them play against Tennessee, I certainly did.
So let's go to Clemson for a second. They lose to NC State at home, and that gives the Tigers losses at home to Georgia Tech. They also lost to Virginia. Virginia's playing pretty good basketball, though, and NC State. They go on the road to Georgia Tech, who plays a lot better at home, it seems like Clemson's a better team on the road. I mean, they beat North Carolina on the road. They lost by a point at Duke on the road. They won at Miami. That was a good win. They won at Syracuse.
They beat Miami.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Miami was a home game. I'm sorry, but they won at Pitt. And they won at Pitt too. And Pitt's playing some good basketball. But you remember the statement you made earlier about we can bitch and complain about the refs, but in the end, it comes down to what that one team did that kind of can screw them over. Clemson had a 4-minute stretch last night where they did not have a field goal. They were in complete control of that damn game, up by 12 points in the fourth quarter. I mean, not the fourth quarter, in the second half. Like 10 minutes ago, I think they're up 12 points. And they go 4 minutes without a field goal. When that happens, you can't really – what can you do? Now, I bring that up because it seems like every season – Jackpot's making fun of me.
You have an echo on the end somewhere.
Oh, my fault. I don't know. Maybe I pressed the button.
Wait a minute. Yeah, it's still there. Something's there.
Oh, I don't know what's going on with the echo. Let me move my microphone. Maybe that'll have something to do with it. All right, so maybe it's bouncing against my monitor here.
Take a baseball bat to that damn bastard.
I need to. Anyway, but every season it seems like Clemson has a set there where they have a 4-minute stretch where they don't score a basket. And this team's got options. Joe Girard is a guy that is one of the best three-point shooters Clemson's ever had. And I know it's his first year there, but he's a hell of a player. PJ Hall's an all-ACC player. So they've got some guys that can make baskets, but for some reason, they get stupid and they stop feeding them the ball when they have a couple of possessions where, okay, maybe this guy's not going to make it. Let's get it to these two guys that are known shot makers. They just don't do that. For some reason, I don't understand what it is.
That echo's still there.
Move this back a little bit. Maybe that's part of the problem. Hold on a second. Oh, I know why. There we go.
How did Lurch perform last evening? I sound like Lurch with that damn echo. Sound like a haunted house. Now he's went away. Well, what's going on, people in the chat? What's going on, VicTube in the house? Jay Stipes in the house. James Thompson, Big Barney Ross in the house. Baylor Man. Bird Tolly in the house. Harry Legg. Matthew Goldsmith. Pete McGaha. Fireval. Devin Hayes in the house. JRB. SEC Dog is here. Sir UGA is here. Sancho is here. What's going on? Brock Lee, Christopher Jones, David, Randall's here. JJ Banks 75 is here. I think I got everybody. Naughty Parrot is here. What's going on? What's the difference in W2 and 1040? 1040 is the form. W2 is a form. It's the same thing. What's going on, Bluegrass Sports Media? He shows up every time Kentucky wins a game. What's going on, Hoghead? Phenemize, what's going on? James Thompson says, Jackpot, what trophy or banner did you find in football? Yeah, 2 Outback trophies in a row. Back to back, we kept it. It started getting dust on it in our trophy case, so I had to go somewhere else. And RMF Todd said he didn't know Bluegrass still had an account. Yeah, he activates it and then he deactivates it. And I don't know. I'm just kidding. I don't know. He does like to show up if Kentucky wins and brag a little bit, but he will show up when they lose too, and that's fine because that happens ever so often. Well, 1099. It's a 1099 form. You get a 1099 form and a W-2 form or 1040 form. I don't know. You guys got my drift when I was talking about 1099 is contract work. Yes, it's self-employed. SEC tournament. Any other big takeaways from college basketball this weekend? Nope. Purdue lost today. Purdue's ranked number 2. They got beat today by Ohio State with an interim coach. Where's Ziggy? Look at there. James Thompson said, "Where's Ziggy? Right here. Hey, good buddy. Hey, buddy. Don't wake up. Come here, baby. Come here, little baby. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here." I don't know where Rob. I don't know why he is got he's gotten lost all of a sudden. Come here, baby. Oh, I got it. Oh, look at this fat rascal. See this fat rascal right here. She's almost as big as I am now. Yes, you are. Yes, you are almost as big as me. You're almost as big as me. I love the pug sounds. I love the pug sounds. She makes pug sounds. She's cute. Aren't you? Hmm? You a good baby? Yeah. You want to get up there? There we go. She likes to lay down. Oh, no. She likes to lay down beside me. Baylor man watches basketball. He doesn't want to watch Baylor football. Getting a double bye in the SEC tournament is crucial. That's true. Rob must be booking his room for the Slob. He might be. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, that's funny. All right, so hopefully that got rid of the echo. I hope it did.
Were you booking your room for the Slob Olympics?
No, sir. I told you I'm not going to the Slav Olympics. It's too far.
Oh,
but we don't have to
okay.
get
Yeah,
into
you did say that once before, but
Yeah, well,
some
about
folks.
that. I think I don't know what happened there. That's completely my fault. Anyway, but yeah, I mean, so you still think they're a tournament team? I don't think Clemson's a tournament team. I think if they go to the tournament, they'll go as one of the first 4 or whatever, and they'll drop whatever game that is. I really believe that because they can't finish games. They should have. I know we live in a land of you're not supposed to win all these games. I get that, but they are a better team than NC State as far as talent goes. They should have won the Virginia game at home. You're going to get fucked at Duke regardless. The Georgia Tech game, they should have won that at home. So with those things, if you don't win those games, then you're not a tournament team. So that's just where I'm at with Clemson. They're just not there.
It just blows that teams like South Carolina they are going to have to end up sweating it out so that you can get a bunch of damn turds in there as 15 and 16 seeds. It's just, I don't know. It's just crap, but it is what it is.
Well, but but I mean, if we didn't have those 15, 16 teams, you wouldn't have teams like Florida Gulf Coast or Florida Atlantic or, I mean,
they weren't a 16.
But Florida Gulf Coast was a 15.
Were they?
Yeah, they were. And then what is it? Maryland. What was it? Maryland County East. What was it?
Maryland, Baltimore County.
Yeah.
Team that beat Virginia when they were number 1 seed. They were the first. They were the first number 16 seed to take one down. Didn't somebody do it last year?
No, I don't think.
Nobody's done it since.
No, I don't think anybody's done it since. So I don't think so.
No.
But I mean, it's all. But I'm just saying, if we don't have that, then we don't have that memory for to look back on. So I mean, I don't mind having some of the smaller schools get in. So there you go with that.
Matthew Goldsmith says Farley Dickinson beat Purdue. That was last year. Were they a 1 seed?
They were a 1 or a 2 seed, one or the other.
Okay.
I don't remember. Jay for the super chat says
They were a 1. They said they were a 1 seed. They were. I'm pretty sure that's right because I do remember that.
Oh yeah, I got you. That broke everybody's brain.
FDU's Fairleigh Dickinson. Don't ask me where it's at. I think it's somewhere in Connecticut. Maybe.
No, where's Fairleigh Dickinson? That's like some artist or honey. You know what Fairleigh Dickinson is? That's like an artist or some sort, right? I don't know. Never heard of him. All right, well.
But Goldsmith says it's in New Jersey.
Okay. Jay says he can haul me and my hairless gerbils to the Slob Olympics. Thank you, sir, for the super chat. Appreciate it.
It's hairless guinea pigs.
Mad T Sipper says, does anyone else feel that Rob is a little light in the loafers? I mean, are you trying to go on a date with me, sir? Is that what you're wanting? Sorry, not gonna work. Yeah. Anyway.
No, he's heavy all around. I know.
Thank you, Jackpot, for that.
You're welcome.
Anyway, so good and bad this weekend. We want to bring folks into the program. I'm going to put the link over here, and we'll bring you guys up if you would like to join the show. Gamecocks win out. They sweep Miami of Ohio. 3-game set, combined no-hitter today. I mean, other than the combined no-hitter, that's probably what you were expecting this weekend, right, Jackpot?
Yeah.
Clemson beat the whole
hell
out of
nothing about Miami of Ohio, but it's a MAC school playing baseball. I probably shouldn't.
I watched Xavier play Clemson on Monday, and the first thing that they came out with was Xavier knocked off Vanderbilt at Vanderbilt last year, and they had like 8 of their returning players, and the starting pitcher was the guy that was pitching on Friday for them. Clemson won that game easily, hit 2 grand slams. Not that they're going to be world-shattering great. I think there's a lot of hype with them. But, the comrade who used to do the show with us had one of the smartest things he said on this program was college baseball doesn't really start until June. You can bash balls in February, March, and April, and all the way up until May. But we don't know if you're worth a shit until you play in June. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, that's when the money's made.
Yeah. Sounds crazy, but it's truth. So,
South Carolina's lost to Xavier before. I can't remember exactly when it was, but it seems like they lost to him in Greenville.
Yeah, they're not a shithole team.
They're a baseball skew.
We're getting closer to spring practice, Jackpot. And I'm going to ask you live, are you going to go to the spring game? Is that something you entertain?
I mean, I'd like to. That's not something I'm going to be, asking off for. I can't really be asking off for a lot of Saturdays right now because I want to be able to get as many of those off during football season as possible.
If it falls that you can have that Saturday off, would you go?
Yeah. I'm assuming it's going to be a night one again.
Yeah. Well, the reason being is that if you were going to go, I was going to tag along with you. That way I have a chaperone. I'm not going to wear Clemson gear or whatever there, but I'd like to go and watch the spring game. Why not?
Yeah.
I need a chaperone. I'm not gonna go down there by myself. Not without. I mean, I need you to guide me around the doo-doo ice and the crackheads and everything else. If I'm going to.
You sold concessions down there before. You know all about the doo-doo ice and that.
Of course I do. But yeah. But I mean, if you're gonna go, then I'll go.
Yeah, I got into a little Twitter spat argument with some Gamecock Sunshine Pumpers yesterday on Twitter. I took a picture of the stands. It's like 15 minutes before tip-off, and the fucking place was half empty. And I just commented that this was kind of an embarrassing crowd for a 3:30 tip for a 21-4 team or whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
People got in their feelings because, well, there was a baseball game. And I said, yeah, I know. Baseball was playing a MAC school. So it's going to keep us from coming to the basketball game, which is literally fucking right here. Which the place did fill up. Oh, no, it was full. It's full. I'm like, no, it's fucking not. It wasn't full. There was plenty of empty seats in there, especially up near the top. So that was factually inaccurate. It was all fake news.
To be fair, Jackpot, and people get mad when I say that it's a concert arena. There's like 19,000 seats. It's hard to fill that up for hoops. It really is. So there's that too. I don't know why people get, you can't expect to sell out 19,000 seats for any game. When Kentucky comes or whatever, because they bring a lot of people, that's different. But 19,000 seats is a lot of seats for anybody. So,
I mean, UNC does it. I mean, why not? They do it for women's basketball. Why not?
But in fairness, you're not on the level of those programs. I mean, the Gamecock women have won 43 straight SEC games.
They're going this year?
Yeah. But I'm talking about but you have to build to that jackpot. I think if Paris stays and you continue to have what you have, you'll get more guys there. You'll get more guys.
Jerry Wells said Frank Martin would have sold it out. He might have. Probably would have intimidated that extra 1,000 people to getting in there.
Yeah.
Somebody made the comment to me too that, the crowd we had today would fill Little John Coliseum up twice. I'm like, I'm not fucking concerned about what was in Little John Coliseum. I'm concerned about us.
That's the way you should be thinking. That's how I look at
exactly.
Clemson.
I'm like, I don't give a shit about what they've got going on there. Yeah, only that they lose. I mean, that's all I care about.
Clemson's got their own issues. They're just shitholes up there with the way that hoops program is right now. So
they complained some about the officiating too. I didn't argue back and forth.
There was a tweet that was out there that made the rounds that said that you're not going to win another game this season. I find that far-fetched and hard to believe, but
that's
there are people that checked out because of that. So I don't know. I don't know what to think. I know that loss made me scratch my head a little bit, but on the other hand, I mean, you've won 21 games. I don't think you're 21.
They've won 21 games, 9 games in conference, and have lost 3. So what makes them fucking think they're not going to win another game the rest of the season? That's just ridiculous.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's possible. Hell, it could happen. But
I mean, it could, but I don't
think it's going to.
I'll take the bet that it's not. So
yeah, exactly.
All right, I'm going to put the link over here if you want to get involved with the program. Have at it. Jackpot. One other little thing I wanted to get into this evening, actually, too. You're wearing your Braves jersey there. ESPN's projecting the Braves to win 104 games. I just wanted to throw that out there because it makes me happy.
Wow.
104 wins for the Braves is the projection. 27% chance to win the World Series, which is the best in baseball at this point. But once again, none of that matters until October. But still, it's nice to be up there on that ledge, So, and the final thing that I had was
104 games is strong.
Yeah, absolutely. 104 games is a really, really.
Who do they have? I assume they have them in the World Series.
Well, they have them at a 27% chance. Hold on, I can pull up the article here for you real quick. Win projections for all 30 MLB teams. The Braves are at 104.7. I'm sorry, they're second. The Dodgers are at 104.8. Fuck those guys. 27.9% for the Dodgers, 27.1% for the Braves.
Well, they probably rate the Braves lower because they do normally shit the bed when they get to the playoffs.
Well, that's fair. Astros are third. Yankees are fourth. Twins are fifth. Orioles are sixth. Seventh for the Phillies. Eighth for the Blue Jays. Ninth for the Rays. 10th for the Mariners. Let's look at who they think the worst team of baseball is going to be, because it used to be the Braves every year.
Fucking Tigers.
No,
Royals.
the Rockies, Athletics, the White Sox. The Royals are 26, so they're not bad.
We're the Cubs.
Right. The Cubs. Are you a Cubs fan, Jackpot?
No, I just asked.
The Pirates are 25th. Marlins are 22nd. Cubs. Wow, the Red Sox are 19th. Mm-hmm. Big Barney Ross, his team.
It looks like they just basically looked at how they finished last year, and
no, they got like this win percentage thing. It's sort of like the FPI or whatever it is. They got the Cubs at 14th.
That's
82 wins. So it's basically a 500 season for the Cubs.
Where do they have the Reds?
Yeah, I just mentioned that. The Reds are 17th.
Where do they have the Padres?
Man, I thought the Padres would be higher, but they're not. Hold on. Let's see here. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Mets, Giants, Red Sox. Padres are 20th.
So they have the Giants at 19th?
No, the Red Sox are at 19. The Giants are at 18.
God. What happened to them? They used to be good.
The Red Sox or the Giants?
The Giants.
I don't know, man. The Giants just kind of fell off after Dusty Baker left.
Where do they have Arizona?
Arizona is at 13. 13 for the Diamondbacks. 85 wins. It's not bad.
Yep.
So,
they were in the series last year, right? No, yeah.
yeah.
Philly. No, yeah, that was them and the Rangers.
Them and the Rangers, yep.
Where are the Rangers?
The Rangers are 11th. So, yeah. There you go with that.
Where
All
are
right,
the The last one. That's the last one.
Is this a bit jackpot, or are you just messing with me here?
No, that's where the Brewers.
The Brewers. Milwaukee Brewers. The Brewers are at 21. 21 for the Brewers.
Damn.
So there's that. Fireball, the number one team
team?
is
It's
the Dodgers. It's the Dodgers and the Braves. So Big Barney Ross says the Reds spent some money this year. We shouldn't finish last or second to last in the division. That's true. By the way,
Joey Votto's got to be one of the oldest players around that's still,
I don't think he's active anymore. It could be wrong.
I don't know. He was there last year. Did he retire? Because he played last year.
Hold on, let's see here. The Cincinnati Reds, their roster, let's see. This is from ESPN, so
he's Canadian.
Sure. Let's see here. Fuck, I don't even know. Like infielders. There we go. No, he's not on the list. I don't know where he is. Joey, you talk.
Baylor man says that he's a free agent, so that's kind of sad. He's been there for like 15 years.
That's true. Been there a long time. Anyway, so there's that. Looking forward to the Braves season as we roll along here. I got to find my Braves hoodie. Someone asked if Trevor Bauer will get signed. At this juncture, if he was acquitted of everything, from what I gather with all that stuff, he should be signed by somebody, right? I don't know, if we live in a country where headlines can come out and it could say the most horrible things, but if the stuff that came out according to a court of your peers says that it's not, then what's keeping him out of baseball? I don't get that, unless there's something behind the scenes that we don't know. But from the stuff that we do know, Bauer should be good to go.
Who was the player that punched the girl a couple of years ago?
That was for the Braves. He's God, I can't remember his name. He still plays for the Braves.
Was it Ozzy?
No, it wasn't Ozzy. It was the Cuban guy. It sounds like I'm just a blatant. Ozuna. Marcelo.
Yeah.
Yeah, he beat up his girlfriend and he still gets to play. He legitimately went to court for it and still, and he gets to play. I don't get it. So we'll see. With the stuff with Bauer, he's off, but yeah. Anyway, jackpot. We've got there's another little football story out there with it's getting interesting with the the transfer portal is going to open it back up. And when you have that spring session, and it's going to be guys that are going to be told, hey, you're not going to play here. That's interesting, to say the least.
I'm so damn tired of hearing about the Tennessee NIL, the lawsuit, and this garbage. I wish that would just fucking get settled one damn way or the other. And just be done with it. At this point, I don't even give a damn if Tennessee wins the fucking thing.
I don't know what's going to happen with that, but you know, I listened to Josh Pate's podcast the other night, and he was talking about your new run game coordinator, Sean Elliott, who basically said, you know what, I'd rather be a run game coordinator, not even an OC at an SEC school. I'll be the guy that works for an OC. I'd rather have that than a G5 job.
He's a tight end coach and a run game coordinator.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, hey, look, I mean, he's developing these guys. I mean, last show, I mean, he developed that receiver there. I forget what his name is. He has the transfer portal, goes to Auburn. He develops the running back, Marcus Carroll, has a few good years. His transfer portal goes to play for Dorkowitz. I mean, that's got to be maddening. And it's already a hard enough job as it is. I mean, I imagine these guys probably have a sleep with a pit in their damn stomach 9 months out of the year.
So I agree with you on that, but I mean, here's the other. I pulled the numbers on that. I think I sent you some of those, where the composite roster for Georgia State was anywhere between 5th and 2nd for the past 6 seasons at Georgia State. So as far as their complete talent roster, he had either between the 2nd and 5th highest talent composite at Georgia State, despite not having the best recruiting classes. They finished in the bottom 3rd there, but he's developing the hell out of these guys, and he's getting guys in the transfer portal too. So he's developing, just like you said, and then they're leaving. And he can't build a damn team. He just can't.
Yeah, I mean, and the timing sucked because they said they're already starting spring practice.
They paused it. They're going to stop it.
Yeah, they were going to stop. There's really a wide window of when spring practice starts and ends at a lot of these schools, it seems like.
Man, there is, but some of these they can start them over, and they had them set to go, and they just didn't. Matthew says, hey, he was 41 and 44.
Yeah, some of those losses was early in the tenure, too.
Well, in the COVID year, he didn't play. That season was the shits for everyone. I'm not saying that Sean Elliott's the best coach. I will stand behind this. I think if he would have been hired instead of Muschamp, he would have done in the range that Muschamp did.
He would have, and that's a tough job there. I mean, that's a tough job. I mean, you're in Georgia. I mean, you're trying to find what is it? Scraps left over from what Georgia tried to recruit, what Auburn didn't want.
You got Georgia Tech in the same damn city with you. So I mean,
yeah, but the nerds, I don't know that they all recruit the same kind of player, or maybe they do.
Right, but you're still recruiting against basically 2 Power 5 schools in state. One, you can throw a rock from your campus and hit the other. So
and I basically say Auburn is in Georgia. It's what? How far is Auburn? Like 30 miles from Georgia? It's not far.
Yeah, something like that.
Clemson might as well be in Georgia too if you're looking at geographically. So
sure. I'm sure you Gamecock fans would like to just give us to Georgia. We'll just go over there and play.
I just always wanted to build a wall around that shithole, but it hasn't happened yet.
I forgot to mention this, ladies and gentlemen. Big Barney Ross has started his own YouTube channel. Go and check him out. I've already watched his first couple of videos, and Big Barney Ross is he's good people, friend of the show. Go and check out his stuff, and a lot of it's Kentucky based, but I am naming him the Kentucky correspondent for this show. If there's something going on with Kentucky, we're going to go to Big Barney Ross first. And the Big Barney Ross channel is what is it? Kentucky Blue Balls channel, he calls it. We're gonna go there for our correspondence because Big Barney Ross knows his stuff. Next live show we do, we're gonna have to bring Big Barney Ross in and let him drink beer with us at Callaway's and get squared away, all that good stuff. So I'm gonna put the link over there for that so you guys can check that out. Anyway, yeah, I don't know. I like the hire of Sean Elliott though. I think it's a home run, man. I really do.
Home run hire.
Home run hire.
If there was a home run hire, I think it definitely would be it. I mean, he's a South Carolina guy. I mean, he brings a ton of energy. He's always positive. I mean, the players respect the hell out of him. He's tougher than damn shoe leather. I mean, what's not like? He's been there before. I mean, he was there for what, 8 seasons, and they were 6, 7 seasons. They were successful for a lot of those. I mean,
he's from Camden, and I mean, I think he's going to be great for him. I really do. I mean, I think it's one of the best hires that Beamer's made, to be honest with you. I mean, he's got recruiting connections here, and he'll I think it's just solid across the board. And if something goes wrong with Fred Flintstone up there, or Fred Flintstone goes to another job, you've got a guy groomed that can be your offensive coordinator. So
$2 billion says Beamer will be fired in 2024. I'm not so sure about that. I think that South Carolina's going to surprise some people this year. So,
are you saying that, or are you just flaming? If he goes 3-9, if he goes 3-9,
first of all, he's not going to go 3-9. He's got 4 layups, and then all he's got to do is win 2 more games. I mean, who the hell could win 2 more games?
If he went 3-9, don't get pushy.
If he goes 3-9, he's getting fired, but he's not going 3-9.
There you go. He's not going 3-9. What if he goes 5-7?
If he goes 5-7, I mean, I think largely it'll depend on how you look during the 5-7. I mean, if you look like a terrible team again, then yeah, he's probably going to go. I don't know. If not, I mean, maybe they'll keep him around one more year, but I kind of doubt it. Really,
I think that, and I think if he goes 3-9 or 4-8, he's fired immediately. If he goes 5-7, I think he stays. I think that he'll lose a good section of the Gamecock fan base if he goes 5-7.
If he goes 5-7, he wins the games against Akron, Wofford, Vanderbilt, and Old Dominion, and then he wins an SEC game. Wins one SEC game against Kentucky, I say, and he gets blown out by Clemson, gets blown out by Alabama, and blown out by Ole Miss. He'll get fired, I think, but that's just me.
Well, we shall see on that front. I don't think that I don't think he's going. I think 3-9 is a pipe dream. 4-8's insane. 5-7 is not. I wonder what Vegas is going to have them at, but
they've been tabbed at 5.5.
Yeah, I don't think you win a game in October, but I think you win at least 5 games. So, and not very many
October schedule again.
About that October schedule, I've got it here. Hold on, I know you go to Alabama. Let's see here. You have a bye week, so that kind of looks like I'm being silly here, but. So there's a bye week in October, but the rest of your schedule is, I think we talked about this before. So October 5th is home game with Old Piss, followed by a game at Alabama. Then you go to Oklahoma and then home for, that's it. So Old Piss, Alabama, Oklahoma. Yeah, because they have the bye week. So those are your 3 games. I think you drop off.
South going to be gunning for Ole Miss's ass.
You can be gunning all you want, but they got a better coach, better quarterback. I mean,
that's debatable.
Wait. You think that Lenore Sellers is better than Jackson Dart right now?
By that time of the season, yeah. I mean, more athletic for sure.
Okay.
Well, I mean, I'm not sold on some jack off some Dart. I mean, what's he done?
Jackson Dart.
I mean, jack off some. I mean, they've built that team around a solid running game, and that running back said deuces. So, I mean,
Let's see here. Jackson Dart last season threw for 3,400.
Harry Legg says Ole Miss will destroy SC. Okay, motherfucker. South Carolina was kicking your fucking ass for an entire goddamn half last year, and you destroyed fucking Ole Miss. So fuck you and fuck Ole Miss.
Jackson Dart threw for 3,400 yards last season, 23 touchdowns, 5 interceptions.
You damn crusty old fart.
You think you're talking about Dart or me?
No, Harry Legg. Damn crusty old fart. They're going to destroy South Carolina.
Come on.
Go to hell.
Be nice to Harry Legg. Harry Legg's got to be in it. He's up there like him and Billy play shuffleboard together.
I know. Nice. That's fine, and they can have fun doing that together.
So I look at that, and
South Carolina's going to beat them, and they're going to knock Juice Wells' ass out of the damn game. If he's even playing by then, he has a fucking man pussy, so he might not even be playing by October.
Who Sellers?
He might stub his toe against Wake Forest, stub it again, and have to sit out the rest of the season.
I misunderstood. Who's got the man pussy, Sellers or Wells? I can't remember which one. Which one?
Wells.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I mistracked there. Zach says Sellers won't even start. Sellers is their starting quarterback, sir. I don't know.
That's ridiculous.
He's going to start. I don't know what the.
Why would you even say that when everything that you saw from him last year was positive? But every time he was in a game, he brought the damn wood. No, so, but he's not going to start because what we haven't seen from him that we have no film on because we haven't seen it, it's not good. So he's not going to start.
Sellers will start. By the way, Dart threw for more yards than Rattler did last season. Just throwing that out there. So, I mean, Dart's
Matthew
a hell of a
Goldsmith says Juice Wells came across as a tool. He is a tool.
Yeah, Well, wait a minute. Are we saying fuck him? I mean, there are some reasons he left that make a lot of sense, Jackpot. The whole thing with his foot doesn't make any sense.
The whole thing with his foot.
Right. You know what I'm talking about, where they had like the intern wrapping his foot instead of like sending him to an actual trainer, et cetera, that kind of thing.
Well, I mean, why didn't he question that at the time it happened?
And that's fair, but
and then,
if I'm
and then too, he lied to Shane Beamer all year long. That's why he didn't say anything, because he didn't know what was going on with him. And I think Shane Beamer, that was his fault too. I think Beamer was too much of an old bitch just to go up and tell him, look, son bitch, I mean, you either tell us what's going on, you either get in here and play if you're well enough to play, or I'm kicking you off the team. I'm sorry, that's what I would have done. And you can say, well, you can say that, Jackpot, but I would have. I would have told him I'm pulling your scholarship and I'm kicking up.
In fairness, what Jackpot's saying is kind of the way these coaches need to go.
Well, I would. Do you think Kirby Smart would put up with that bullshit? Or you think Nick Saban would have put up with it? No.
But look,
I don't even think Dabo would have put up with it. So
no, but let's be honest though. Juice Wells at South Carolina was a big fish in a small pond. He's, that's what he thought. Nobody thought Leggett was going to be as good as he was, and maybe he didn't want to get on. I'm just throwing out stuff here because I can make up whatever I want because I got a microphone. Maybe he didn't want to look like a bitch on the other side when Leggett was playing his dick off, and he ends up looking like a number 2 guy when he had film where he was a number 1 guy and Leggett was his number 2. Maybe he didn't want the NFL people seeing that. There's a possibility of that happening too, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I didn't think he was coming back at all anyway, because I heard way back in October that he was going to hit the transfer portal. And then when he put that tweet out or that Instagram post or whatever he did before the Clemson game, I will be back next year, and no, I'm not playing the game. And I'm like, what a pompous fucking asshole you are. I mean, like, who does this?
But I think this is a society thing, Jackpot, not just Wells. There aren't a lot of I mean, look, when you and I were 20, did we make the best decisions in the world? And I say that because these are grown ass men playing a grown ass game where testosterone is at an all-time high. They're out there making plays against the biggest of the big guys there. And of course, it's going to feed their ego, and they may say some dumb shit. And they also may have some parents or an uncle or whoever that's living vicariously through them that may feed some decisions that are not good. So it could be some of that too. You know?
That's true. Well, yeah, that's one too. Juice Wells, remember his daddy got on Facebook or something and started throwing some shit around, and I mentioned that in the video. All Juice Wells talked about was his mom. My mom this, mom that, mom, doing that for her. And I believe that. And then here comes this Fruit Loop into the damn conversation. He's on Facebook defending him like, this son bitch probably ain't seen Juice Wells in 15 years. Yeah. He's just showing up to get some of that right there.
Yeah.
Because he probably stated that his dad left when he was very young. I'm like, well, why are you on Facebook? Okay.
But I think that social media feeds into that too, because I'll use Dave Uyunglele, who made himself a Clemson star. Everybody loved Dave Uyunglele.
Oh, he's the man. Big Dave.
Big Dave was the man. He's out there clapping and all this stuff. And then all of a sudden he starts putting out these like cryptic messages, especially about his other son that ended up being a D1 player too. And man, it's just social media turns these parents into stars. And
yeah, he's like a big fat Polynesian version of a dance mom. Well, it is, and look, and I say that because I'm not a Clemson fan, and I like to give him hell. But if I was a Clemson fan and I was having to listen to his shit when DJ was struggling, and he was throwing that stuff up there about Dabo, I mean, I'm like, fuck you and go on. I mean, your kid's playing, you ain't. Sit in the damn bleachers and enjoy the game from afar instead of trying to become like he's trying to ride his son's coattails to become some kind of social media superstar when young DJ himself, he wasn't even saying anything. He was out there. He was performing. He was performing not up to par. But I mean, he wasn't shooting off at his mouth about it. He wasn't, sour grapes, and he appeared to be a good teammate. Yeah.
So, I don't know. I get when people a lot of people bring up the year that he was Trevor Lawrence's backup, right? Mm-hmm. Where he had like two big games. The first one was
the game against Boston College and Notre Dame, and I saw those two games. I'm not gonna lie to you, man. I was like, oh fuck. I'm like, we got to deal with this, and then then came that game against Georgia. Holy shit.
Well, and Georgia fans goof, but in reality, you can make an argument that, that Georgia defense broke him, and because he looked like shits and giggles after that. That's the 10-3 game where, Clemson was lucky to score. Now that was a generational type defense there, but
yeah, that was the I will never that was the one where Lou put the classic video out the next day that Georgia put him in the nervous hospital. He woke up at the nervous hospital the next day.
That's fair. I mean, you can't really say much. So Uyunglele in the Boston College game had 342 yards and 2 touchdowns, went 30 for 41. But if you look at the guys that he had with him, Travis Etienne, outstanding. Let's see here. Travis Etienne in that game had 20 rushes for 86 yards. He also caught 7 passes for 140 yards. So
he had
Amari Rogers.
Yeah. He had Justin Ross on there too, right?
Right. I don't think Justin Ross in this game. Justin Ross didn't have a catch. I'm
Was he
looking at
hurt? Man?
I can't remember.
Remember he got hurt.
So, yeah, that was when he got hurt. But in the Notre Dame game, he threw for 439 yards and 2 touchdowns, and they lost. But in that game, ETN ran for 50, caught 8 for 57. Cornell Powell had 6 catches for $161. Amari Rogers had 8 catches for 134 yards. I'm just saying he had receivers and one of the top. I mean, he had one of the best running backs in ACC history to kind of levy that out. But then after Georgia broke him, he really wasn't. He hasn't been the same since. He really hasn't. So
yeah, I got a lot of people hot at me. That was maybe they were just laughing about it, but the that Notre Dame game, that was the one. It was on NBC. You remember that? And Cornell Powell caught the touchdown pass and got up in the camera and said, "This is our motherfucking house," or something like that. And I tweeted out. I clipped it and I filmed it off of my TV because I rolled it back and I was like, "Here's the Christian school." I said, right in front of touchdown Jesus too.
Yeah. I mean, that I remember watching that video from you and thinking, we were in COVID. I was like, Jackpot needs to get outside. He needs some sunlight. That's what I thought about with that.
I hated that. I'm so glad that's over with. I hated that fucking mask. Trying to work in that was so fucking hot and aggravating.
I'm glad that's over too. Brock says, I think Clemson fans broke DJ. Cade Klubnik is awful, but the level of hate he gets is nowhere near the level of what the hate that DJ got. But I mean, you had, in fairness, I don't think that Dabo Sweeney's been running around with the love affair like he had with Uyunglele. I remember even interviewing him at ACC kickoff, and he was like, like they were blood brothers or something. It was just over the top.
They're thinking everybody's going to be the next Trevor Lawrence. It's going to be another one to come around, and it's not happening.
I don't. That's the other thing too. I mean, I think Clemson fans are spoiled. We talked about that too, where they went from Taj Boyd, who was a record-breaking quarterback. They had Kelly Bryant in there for a second. Then they had, of course, the Deshaun Watson and Trevor Lawrence and all these great quarterbacks and great wide receivers too. I mean, Mike Williams was absurdly great. Amari Rogers was great. I mean, Justin Ross was great. He won another ring with the Kansas City Chiefs this year. There's so many great receivers, and great running backs they had too. There was a stretch where Clemson had I think 7 straight seasons with 1,000-yard rusher. And, T. Higgins was great too. And now they don't have that level of talent anymore, especially in the receiving core. They're hoping some of these guys can come in and do some stuff. But as of right now, if you're a Clemson fan heading into this season, especially where you're going to have to play this Georgia team the first game of the year, you better pray that Maffa doesn't get injured, because if Maffa gets injured, they could go 7-5 without breaking a sweat. So let's just, because none of the receivers they got right now are something that you would ride home and talk to your mama about. That's for damn sure. And I think the jury's still out on Klubnik. The defense, I think, is going to be better. But I mean, I think that Georgia game is going to be like a 17-6, 20-6 game, something like that, where, Clemson will lose by a couple of touchdowns. They may get a couple of field goals if they're lucky, but that's just the feeling I've got from it with what I think is coming back right now.
Yeah. I'm excited. Matt T. Sipper says, I think Jackpot has lost a little weight. JK. Okay.
Why? What's Matt T. Sipper's problem this season?
I don't know. No, I have.
Feelings on another video or something.
I told you Mrs. T. Sipper's snatch was low in carbs and cholesterol. And
high protein.
Exactly. And that's what I've been munching on lately. So yeah, lost a little weight. I'm just looking forward to Sean Elliott coming back. I think it's a good thing. Might be a bad thing for Clemson too. You know, if Shane Beamer does get let go and he has to be the interim coach, you know, when they faced him, it was a kind of a tough day at the office. Kind of a tough day at the office that 2015. A little scary day at the office for them because they got out to a big lead and then let the Gamecocks kind of come roaring back.
Oh, I've got someone sent me a question the other day and to ask you on our next live show. They wanted to get your instant reaction, and the question was very simple. I'm not saying this. The person that gave me the question is, Jackpot, does it hurt your feelings that Mizzou has passed South Carolina as far as SEC relevance?
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of figured that.
That pisses me off.
Yeah, I mean, and there's not really.
I mean, because what's the draw? I mean, there's no draw to Mizzou. I mean, you know why? I mean, other than I honestly think Eli Drakowitz has just turned it into a fun place to play. I really do.
Do you think that's more? Do you think it's that, or do you think it could be the NIL stuff where they've got the weird NIL rules in Missouri?
Yeah, they
could be that too.
That's just NIL rules where they can pay some people in high school before they get to Mizzou, as long as they're committed to them.
Right.
They just kind of passed that. It was kind of recently, so I don't really think that. I mean, he's kind of gotten some good players out of the transfer portal. We'll have to see. We'll see. I mean, this Baker guy is gone. So I think that defense is going to take a step back, and that defense was really salty last year. So,
they were, but look, here's my thing. And I like when you hear Dorkowitz talk, and we still call him
Steve Wilkos is available again. So
Wilkes, yeah.
Who's Wilkos?
Wilkos was Jerry Springer's bouncer that had his own show.
Oh yeah. That was the bald headed dude.
Yeah, and then Steve Wilkes is the defensive coordinator for Mizzou. Glad to help you out there, Jackpot. Normally you help me. Anyway.
Wilkos, Steve Wilkos, he would get in people's face and stuff, man. I mean, he was like, he would like one of his guests, he'd be like, "You're touching young girls?" He was like,
"Get off my stage.
You're lucky I don't kill you right now." I mean, I was seriously scared of the guy.
I mean, he was, I don't know. Chris says Missouri, he's lost losing season 75% of the time. Look, in my opinion, he's been at, how long has he been there? He's been how long has he been at Mizzou?
This is his fifth year.
So in 5 years, he's taken Mizzou from shit to winning a New Year's Six game. That's pretty damn good,
I mean, he had a losing season in 2022, but I mean, you got to look at it. I mean, he lost to Georgia by 4. He lost to Auburn by 1. He lost to Florida by 7. I mean, you have a lot of net close losses, dude. That's the thing. I mean, they leveled their game up just enough in 2023 to where those net close losses became wins.
Yeah.
And then they kind of got on. Then when they started doing that, then they kind of got on a roll. Had they not been on the kind of roll that they were on, I don't think that they beat a Tennessee what was it, 38-6 or something? They beat them. It was pretty bad.
I want to go over Brock's question, but do Chris first. Chris says Heupel did it in 2, and y'all said he sucks. Well, it's because he does.
I was watching Sports Talk Jay's his show today, and he's funny. He was talking about the Vols and making the 12-team playoffs and yada 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 and all this. It was funny. He was talking about because 2023, he's like, we had an off year. We were 9-4 in 2023, and that was a down year for us. As this 2017, here's Tennessee's records. I was thinking about this: 4-8, 5-7, 5-7, 7-6, 3-7, 11-2, and 9-4. So that's a down year. How? compared to all the rest of them.
See, like I've been trying to, because BVD says that he's a good guy to watch, and then you told me, hey, he's a pretty good guy to watch. But then he's a
little bit of a homer, but then again, so am I. So
our 9-3 year is a bad year after the shit that Tennessee's been for almost a quarter of a fucking century. Get the hell out of here, man. Ridiculous. Just terrible.
He's a little bit of a homer, but he's good people. I like him.
I mean, you could be good people, but be relevant, be factual. Let's do Brock's question here. Brock says, I just hope Sean Elliott doesn't become our next head coach. I don't think Beamer will coach much longer at South Carolina. The next hire will determine if South Carolina falls into the depths or not. Ooh. That's a lot of stuff to take in there, Jackpot. I think that, I don't know, man. In my opinion, if the Beamer hire goes to a point where, the world falls apart and they go 3-9 this season, I think that you've got to look at, all right, we're going to have to fire our AD too. You're going to have to clean house down there. Would you agree?
Yeah, I mean, if it turns out that Beamer's a fucko and I was like really sold on it when he hired him. I was disappointed, and then we had the decent end of the season in 2021. I was like, okay, well, maybe what. And then 2022, I was like, well, yeah, maybe not. I was like, maybe 30% he's a fucko. Now I'm more like 65% he's a fucko. So yeah, the good basketball hire with Lamont Paris. Do you think that was just a case of a blind squirrel catching a nut?
Well, I mean, but look, he has to be given credit for that. Okay, he hired.
I don't even, because I'm in love with you. I don't even think Mark Kingston's that good because he can't fucking win SEC series.
Brother, he's not that good, and I know that people
he can't win SEC series. Last year, what were we in the middle of April? I mean, we lost like 5 games or something, maybe the entire season, and then all of a sudden, like, we just fucking went and just disappeared for 6 weeks.
Well, look, I will give you. Let's just say, and let's
stand that guy. He's a fucking smug asshole. And then I found out I saw they gave him a damn contract extension. What the fuck is that all about? They love to give extensions to people who suck.
But they did that.
Beamer, his extension from 2022 going into 23. Dude got like a 200% increase in his salary or something?
Mm-hmm.
Is it something like that?
For Kingston or Beamer?
For Beamer.
But for Beamer,
it's a huge raise.
It's a different thing for Beamer because Beamer's coaching football over baseball.
Yeah, and he came in. Yes, and he came in getting paid so low, but still, they did the same thing with Muschamp. They give huge raises, or let's say they give too big of a bump to people that don't deserve them.
That's a fair argument, but I think that Beamer came in and was told, look, kind of a nod and a head shake type thing or handshake type thing of like, we're going to pay you shit right now because we have to pay this jerk off that we just fired a huge buyout. If you can work with us for a season and, get the ball rolling, keep it going forward, build some progress, then we'll pay you more. And I think that's why he got the bump that he got. It's just my thinking there. Because, they were paying, 17.5 for Muschamp to go away. So I think that's part of it. Maybe I'm wrong. But with the baseball coach, though, you're absolutely right with that. Because I've talked with several junior college coaches and a couple of assistant coaches over time that have said, this guy's just an analytics guy. Everything is about what the computer's telling you to do. Oh, we're not hitting well against this guy. Let's change the way that we swing the bat's trajectory and stuff like that. That's what's going to win games. It's none of this stuff of like, you know what? I see this guy working his ass off in practice and he's he's dropped his nuts and he's done what he's supposed to do. I'm going to put him out there like Ray Tanner did and would put the winning combination out there. And that's how you won titles. Now, this is like, what does the computer tell me to do? And we'll go from there. He is flimsy as all get out. And I thought getting Monty Lee there would help with that. And it kind of did last year. Because I think Monty Lee's a good coach. I really do. But in the end, that guy's a shitbird. And that's on Tanner too. But you got to give him credit for Paris. But the Muschamp hire is on him too, though. And now he's got the Beamer hire. You have those two back-to-back football hires. I mean, I think if Tanner's got to go too, if Beamer goes to shit. So
yeah, get him out of there. And I'm telling you, I still say back the Brinks truck up to. There's a particular ACC coach. It's not that far away that I'm telling you that they should go get. He's not a flashy hire, but all he does is win. And it's up at NC State. They need to go. They should have gone and got that guy a long time ago.
You think they should get Doran over Dave Clawson?
Yes. All he does is win.
Dave Clawson wins games. Doran's a dope.
Well, Dave Clawson would have been a better hire than Beamer, and he was on the fucking list. I interviewed him.
I think that Clawson's a horrible interviewer, but I mean, as far as a coach,
they're fucking dopes. Well, who gives a shit? Well, the interview, I don't know. The shit's executed on Saturdays. Clawson wins on Saturday. They had a bad year last year, but I mean, he lost a hell of a lot of talent.
He lost a hell of a lot of people.
You can't restock the cupboard at Wake Forest in 1 year.
Clawson with South Carolina's roster last year. I think with South Carolina's team last year, he won 7 games.
Anybody with a fucking brain would have won 7 games. Anybody with a pulse.
Your coach won 5.
Well, anybody with a fucking pulse should have won 7 games. You had damn Spencer Rattler, and he was playing his fucking A game. That guy played out of his mind last year. And I hate that he didn't have the pieces around him that were worth a shit. I really think he was done a disservice his last year in the college game. I really do.
Well,
because a lot of people. I'm sorry, I keep interrupting you.
Okay, buddy, go ahead.
But I'm high right now. I'm just kidding. He received a lot of hate, from that QB1 show. People didn't like him. They thought he's a fucking jerk. He's an asshole. This is an arrogant fucking kid. Blah 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 blah. And then at Oklahoma, the 2020 season happened and he looked really good. And then 2021 happened and he got benched. Okay, well, he got benched and he got pissed off. Okay, well, all right, he's a freaking kid. Kids get benched and pissed off. But then when he came to South Carolina, I think he solidified himself as a real leader and he was very mature. I think the way he carried himself, and it wasn't just a put on. Like I talked to people that had met and come into contact with him out in public. I mean, and he was just a good dude. So I just think it was just shitty and people had this preconceived notion of what he was. But I think it was pretty.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Jackpot. I was just saying, what you're saying there makes a lot of sense, and I just wanted to add to this. I have to moonwalk back what I said because that kid went out there, and I say kid, he's a grown-ass man. He went out there with a piss offensive line, not having his best wide receiver, and he went out there and played. What was the guy that said drop your nuts? That's what Rattler did.
Oh, Cam Smith.
Yeah, I mean, he had the Cam Smith thing. Drop your nuts, I'm going to go out here and play. Went out there and played the best that he could behind a shitty offensive line and did really, really good and never bitched, never complained, never was like, man, I could use some fucking – none of that. He was just great. And so I got to moonwalk back what I said. He earned a lot, not just respect for me and everybody else, but, I mean, he was just really, really good. And
Brock Lee says Doran is awful. He can't see 8-4, some at 9-3 at NC State.
Look, if
Yeah,
you
it's
hired,
NC State. Look at his roster, his talent level.
He's had some number one picks in that roster, but if you look,
Bradley Chubb.
if you told me, Rob, we're getting Doran, we could have Clausen, but we're taking Doran, I would laugh to the end of time. If you said you got Clausen, I would be like, shit. I would actually be worried if you got Clausen because he's that good of a coach. So, but I mean, yeah, that's the Gamecock thing to do is to go and get another retread. They go and get Mac Brown from North Carolina. That would be the Gamecock thing. We're going to bring in Mac Brown. We're going to bring in Mac Brown. That's going to be our guy. And he's going to come in and sure, just old as fuck. That's what you guys would have. And he'd probably have a 10-2 season with somebody that's outstanding. And then y'all would have like another on his 75th birthday, he would retire, just some shit. That's what would happen.
Run away.
No, he wouldn't run away. He'd limp away. He'd just get in his car and head the fuck out.
I think he's probably on the way out. I think this is probably like his last year.
Papa B says, get Barry Odom from UNLV.
Yeah, he's got to have a better body. He's got to have a few more good seasons before I would trust him.
I still think I should
but
go.
Then again, he didn't have a good roster at Mizzou.
Jamie Chadwell's the answer, Jackpot. He did well at Coastal, went to Liberty, played well there, did his stuff there.
Now, he didn't play well. He coached well,
but he coached well. But he's won everywhere he's went. Why not go with Jamie Chadwell? I don't understand why.
That would be another good another good outlet. Avenue, whatever.
Or Big Barney Ross says Les Miles. Well, why not go get Rodriguez? Give Rich Rodriguez another shot at a Power 5 job.
That Chadwell thing's interesting because I guess they didn't show any interest when he's at Coastal. Maybe they didn't think, he hasn't showed enough or something. But now, he's kind of Liberty's kind of a lateral move, but
right.
And again, it's not. It's kind of a lateral move, but it's elevated up a little bit.
Chadwell is 99-57 as a head coach at North Greenville, Delta State, Charleston Southern, and Coastal Carolina. And he built the transition from FBS into the Sun Belt.
He got his teeth kicked down against Oregon. Papa B says Chadwell, no Power 5 experience. Sir, Beamer didn't have any experience in anything.
All these people started without it. Urban Meyer was at Utah, but they weren't a Power 5 yet.
No, not at the time. They weren't. He was at Bowling Peen before that.
Now, Chris has a very valid point. That's a gimmick offense that Chadwell runs. Well, who runs that gimmick offense for Chadwell? That would be Willie Korn, from what I gather, he's the co-offensive coordinator at Liberty right now, former Clemson guy, but they run what they run is a gimmick offense. You're absolutely right, Chris. Their gimmick is different from the Tennessee gimmick, but it's still a gimmick. You're absolutely right about it.
Wake Forest offense a gimmick offense?
Yes. That what is it?
Slow mesh?
The slow mesh, absolutely. Anything that you can use to mask the fact that you don't have a good offensive line, or you gain a competitive advantage by running up to the line as fast as you possibly can, and you're pissed off because the refs slow you down and all that. That's all gimmick.
It seems like to me, I don't know. It seems like to me you'd have to have a decent offensive line to execute the fast mesh because you're kind of the quarterback's kind of holding the ball for a minute. It's weird.
It's weird, but the way that they do it, they spread you out so much, and your guys can't. The defense.
Your defensive line might over pursue a little bit,
and that's what they're waiting on. They're waiting for the defensive tackles to run past basically the quarterback and come from behind him, and then I can flip it off to the running back or whatever. You could have like a Greg Dortch who runs 4 yards down the field, and you can dump the ball off to him and he'll get you 7 yards and stuff like that. So there's that. Anyway, but yeah, I think that Clausen would be the lights out hire, but that won't happen at South Carolina.
Like I said, they had a chance. They could have hired him in 2020, but they chose to. I mean, that I think you'll remember that was kind of the guy I wanted then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but they
that was
chose
the guy
to,
you wanted. That was the guy you wanted. There was a point. If I remember now, forgive me for this. Weren't you a guy that you were on that you wanted Florida's coach right now? You wanted their coach for a bit, didn't you?
Yes, I did, but I mean, you can't blame him. I mean, he did some impressive things.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, like I say, you never know what's going to happen with these folks until the rubber meets the road.
Brock says the current South Carolina offense is a gimmick. It's the same thing every time. Quickly get to 4th down, then punt. Very good, sir. Very good.
We love that. We love that swing pass.
Elijah says if you don't run a pro offense, it's a gimmick. No, it's not necessarily a pro offense. I don't understand why Tennessee fans get so upset by that. I mean, you just show me a team that's won a title with the offense that you run. I'll wait. So there you go with that. Jason, I'm just happy to meet the first Texas 8 and 4 a.m. cheer squad in this community. Oh, okay. We have an A&M fan in the mix here. I did not know that. Jackpot, do you think we're going to get some more Texas and Oklahoma fans into the mix now they're joining the conference? That might happen. We're going to have some Texas fans up in here getting pissed off because I know the majority of everybody over there is going to be doing the horns down thing. Wonder how that's going to go across. Oh, you talking about Wheezy?
Little baby over here.
Hey, did you see? I want to. The Mazodcast tweeted out something today about about Oklahoma that made me laugh with them joining the conference. I want to read a piece of that before we go.
Those people don't put out near enough content. When it's not football season, it's few and far between.
I mean, Brennan wrote a book. I mean, that.
Yeah, he wrote a book. It's been written for like years.
But it would take us forever to damn, do a comic.
It would take me forever to write a term paper, so hats off to him.
Yeah.
But they don't put out. Well, they were last year. They were pumping it out. Their basketball team was doing pretty well. This year, holy shit, they're bad. I mean, that just shows you. I mean, with basketball, I mean that definitely is a 1-season turnaround. I mean,
it is. I want to read this from the Mazodcast. They said in 1889, in Oklahoma, 50,000 people lined up to claim the land of the new Oklahoma Territory. Land could not be claimed until after noon of April 22nd. Most folks cheated and went out early. They were called Sooners. Rather than condemning these dirty cheaters, the University of Oklahoma embraced them and made them their mascot. That was in 1889. And then they got a whole list of just shit here from Oklahoma, including, let's see here. In the 80s, Barry Switzer goes beast mode, the Boz and Charles Thompson getting paid, machine guns in locker rooms, players dealing drugs, gang rapes occurring in the OU athletic dorm. OU conducted an internal investigation and declared themselves innocent. Ex-players fessed up later on to the NCAA anyway.
Tucson.
They just ripped Oklahoma a new ass, which I thought was pretty funny.
That story of that damn did you ever watch there was a 30-30, it's old, this came out over 10 years ago about Marcus Dupree.
Yeah, the running back?
Yeah, that he went to Oklahoma, and it's like a big deal that he ended up at Oklahoma because he's from Mississippi. And he was there for like, I don't know, maybe he played a season there, like his freshman season, and he rushed for like over 1,000 yards. And And then he just like all of a sudden up and left. I mean, that was weird. The whole story was weird. And he
Yeah,
ended up trying to go to Southern Miss and some crazy stuff. And he went to the USFL. He blew out his leg, and then he trained back, and he came back and played in the NFL for like one game. It was the best there never was.
yeah, and I think
So,
he's like, and I think he's driving a truck or something now. I mean, he's just you never thought that would be his job because he thought he was such a world class athlete, you know.
yeah, he was. I mean, he was good. That's kind of a sad story there happened to him.
Yeah, crazy. Well, so the Gamecocks have the bye week this week. Clemson, who does Clemson plays at Georgia Tech? I can't remember. Let's see here. I'm making sure that I'm. When does Clemson play? They play. I think they play on Wednesday. Let's see here. Monday, no. Tuesday, nope. It's on Wednesday. Clemson plays at Georgia Tech. 7:00 tip-off where you can get a ticket for $9 if you wanted to go to that matchup at Georgia Tech. We'll see if they bounce back from that. And South Carolina's got a week to stew before they head to Old Piss. That sucks. Kind of want to get back on the court after that loss.
Yeah, they kind of need to win. Fireball says brother had cerebral palsy after his brother died. He didn't care more. That's why he didn't care about that. That is true. He did. I remember that now from that show. He did have a brother with that.
Pressing shit there.
Yeah.
I don't want to like end the show like that, but
Now the Gamecocks, they've got some work to do this week. Hopefully they'll get back right. Like I said, Ole Miss did almost lose to Mizzou yesterday, and they are shitty.
We shall see. All right, we're back at it Wednesday night. Appreciate you guys. Bracket challenge is coming soon. Stay tuned for that. Subscribe to Big Barney Ross's channel, Gamecock Sporty's channel.
Subscribe to this channel.
Yeah, subscribe to this channel first if you haven't, for God's sake. Appreciate it. We'll see you guys later on.